When it comes to Tennessee and Florida, the Gators seem to have the Vols' number. If you look at the matchup since 2004, Tennessee, they've only mustered 3 wins against the Gators. But if we use a small sample size of the last 2 meetings, explosive plays may prove to be the difference maker. I'm Paige Dower. This is the Field Pass. A year ago between Tennessee and Florida, every drive for the Gators but one, where they had an explosive play going at least 15 yards, they converted for points. 4 times a touchdown, another a field goal. And the only time they didn't, it was a turnover on downs, and it came at the end of the game where their win against Tennessee was all but sealed. Graham Mertz, who they'll face again this season, was 19 of 24 for 166 yards. But most of their explosive plays came on the ground via running back Trevor Etienne, who's now with Georgia. And since week 1 of this season, Florida, they've not had a running back rush for more than 68 yards this season. But back to Mertz. The way he's performed these last 2 games looks a lot how he did against Tennessee a year ago. In these last 2 games, he's combined for a completion percentage of 86.3%. Whereas for Tennessee a year ago, they had 5 explosive plays on 5 separate drives. Only twice did they convert for points. And we're kind of seeing that a little bit these last couple of games for Tennessee, where they've struggled to convert for explosive plays, and when they have, they've not been able to fully capitalize on those plays. And a lot of that comes down to pre-snap communication, playing clean before the snap, recognizing the pressures that they're about to have. They've not really been able to do that these last 2 games, and Josh Heupel says, again, it comes down to having clear communication. When they are able to have clear communication and play clean pre-snap, we saw what we saw in the 3rd quarter against Arkansas, where they didn't have a single penalty against the Razorbacks in that 3rd frame. They also had 2 touchdowns.
I think pre-snap movement was a big thing. Obviously you look back at the penalties, pre-snap penalties, and just being able to adjust when we're out there, shifting from 4 down to 3 down or vice versa, just being able to go and block it. Like I said, nothing we haven't blocked before, just have to clean it up and be ready for the same thing this week.
Now against the Razorbacks, Tennessee had 6 explosive plays, but it only went for 152 yards. The Arkansas Razorbacks, they had 14 explosive plays combining for 280 yards. But one guy for the Tennessee Volunteers who continues to find consistent success, able to create explosive plays for this offense despite the struggles to convert for explosive plays with the wide receivers, it's running back Dylan Sampson. I spoke with the running backs coach Andrell Sims during the media availability earlier today about what's allowed Dylan Sampson to continue to find this level of success despite these offensive struggles. And simply put, he says he just does his job at an elite level.
I think the number one is just he's doing his job. You know what I'm saying? He's trusting his read. He's trusting the offensive line. And then when the big play is there to be made, he's allowing himself to be able to go do that. And I think you see that in terms of, like we talked before, him being comfortable in the offense, him being comfortable with the offensive line, and then seeing the plays as it's getting ready to develop and then giving himself a chance. Once he gets into the 3rd level, it's on him from that standpoint. So he's done a phenomenal job.
So while the offense is trying to find rhythm, create those explosive plays, have this up-tempo offense that we're accustomed to seeing with the Josh Heupel-led offense, you also have to look to the other side of the ball on defense, where maybe we're finding that they have to play a bit tighter in their coverage. And sometimes you do just have to tip your hat to the opponent, because even on the times where Jermod McCoy was playing lockdown defense, somehow the receivers were able to still come down with the ball. Other times it came down to execution and effort. Jacoby Thomas spoke with media the other day and says they liked their game plan. They were able to adjust to what the offenses were showing them, but they just didn't execute the way they wanted to. Sometimes that does come down to effort and playing with disciplined effort through the entire play, through the entire snap. Willie Martinez also kind of reinforced that message too, that you have to maintain a certain level of effort within each play and each down in these games.
I thought we played hard. Did we play smart at some times? No, we could have played smarter in some moments. Did we play long enough and harder, than our opponent? I think at times we saw that we didn't, But containing the quarterback is just making sure you keep your rush lanes not going past the level of the quarterback or the ball, you know what I mean, and continue to push the pocket and where you're actually containing it, you know, and not let them out of the pocket. And if that's the case and that happens, it happened to us a couple of times where, you know, we know they're going to throw the ball down deep, you know, we got to be able to stay, you know, what we call plaster, but staying with our receivers, with our eyes, have got to transfer it to stay on the wideout, not the quarterback.
And interestingly enough, this will be the third straight game where Tennessee potentially will face multiple quarterbacks within the game. You look to Oklahoma facing both of those quarterbacks. You look to last week against Arkansas facing two quarterbacks. Now they're getting ready to face a Florida team that actually likes to run a system that utilizes two quarterbacks. And that's kind of one of the main challenges and things that this defense is really keying on this week.
Being able to understand the schematics of what wants to be done on normal downs and third downs, and then also knowing what the offense that we're playing is trying to do, and having a good grasp of what the game plan of how they want to attack us is and how we need to defend.
It's also been rather quiet here on Rocky Top with the Vols having a bye week and then having their last two games on the road. I asked Arion Carter earlier today, how excited are you to be back in Neyland Stadium, specifically to have that crowd noise finally on your side?
Oh yeah, it's always great getting back in Neyland in front of 102, 3,000 screaming fans that have your back, and it's going to be a great environment Saturday night. Obviously with Checker Neyland and just a lot of people who are going to be there, and just having that crowd around us to be able to, especially on defense, they're in a hostile environment. They have to change up their clap cadence or just anything, any edge that we get over is always a plus when you're at home on defense, and it's just going to be great to be back in Neyland running through that tee.
We have so much more to dive into as the week continues. On Wednesday, we'll talk a little bit more about the Lady Vol basketball team. Upcoming on Thursday, we'll hear from the men's basketball team. Friday, it's me and Jimmy Himes breaking down Tennessee and our final keys to the game as they get ready for a SEC rival in the Florida Gators. We'll be at the game Saturday, so look to our post-game report Sunday morning. We might try and do like a bit of a fire drill after the game if it doesn't go too long. These late kicks kind of get us a little bit about trying to do true post-game reports on the field. But look forward to all this content we have coming up this week. Seemingly every single day this week we'll have something to report on. So definitely make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. But until then, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Again, that is the best way to support me and to support Jimmy Himes and all that we're doing. We have so much more content coming up for the Rewind on Thursday as well, part 2 with VFL Robert. Peace. Until then, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.